the 2018 National Demographic and Health Survey reports that 92% of residents has no difficulty in any disability domain, while 7% have more difficulty and 1% have a lot of difficulty from age 15 and old. 2% of women and 2% of men have a lot of difficulty or cannot function in at least one domain. Other disability report estimates range from 2 to 10%. Furthermore, there is no data or statistics that show that women with disability are fully integrated, mainstream, or included in social issues, agenda, or priorities. Reasons for a charter of demand. Women with disabilities are left behind and have been sidelined for too long. We have many barriers that are hindering us from living independent lives in Nigeria. Key barriers include medical, attitudinal, infrastructure, social and economic limitations. 0% of participation in government. This is despite the concrete efforts and actions of our inclusion through advocacy, programs, resources, intervention to improve the participation of women with disability in governance and leadership. These and other daily challenges and limitations inform the demand of the charter, development of this charter of demand as another advocacy tool that is aimed at calling out governments, its agencies, operators, public and private sector institutions, civil society, the media, and donors to prioritize the inclusion and participation of women with disability in politics and governance. The vision is to drive home the rights of women with disability to enjoy equal opportunity that enables them to productively contribute as equal stakeholders in Nigerian development. Context and support. The development and production of this charter of demand is set within the scope of Nigeria 2023 elections and beyond, and its themes. No credible election without us, PWDs. The objectives are to advance the promotion of gender equality and social inclusion, JESI, as an index of credible election and popular participation in governance. It is also use the strategy of a public rally to amplify the voice of women with disability and usually excluded vulnerable groups in election and governance in Nigeria. These have been made possible under a partnership with Network of Women with Disabilities and Women Rights Advancement and Protection Alternatives under the improvement of electoral integrity and accountability projects supported by MacArthur Foundation. Therefore, we women with disabilities collectively agree and raise our voices in demand through the Charter of the following. Article 1. Public and private sector employment. To avail to women with disability the right to gainfully public and private sector employment, government and private institutions should ensure all employment including government and its institutions, agencies, and public and private governance organizations, comply with provisions of the National Policy on Disability in Nigeria 2017 and the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act 2018. Prohibits all forms of workplace discrimination in organization, possesses access to resources and privileges and opportunity for career entry and growth. Ensure effective accountability through monitoring and reporting of violation to the Social Welfare Government Department on the working condition and treatment of female employees with disabilities. D. Ensure infrastructural modifications to ease access to building and improvement in and around workplace. Provide for women with disability equal access to sexual and reproductive health, information, and service in all healthcare facilities. Article 2, political party. Political parties as a major platform for citizens' political engagement should incorporate into political structures and implement disability accountability mechanism in line with National Policy of Disability in Nigeria 2017 and Disability Prohibition Act 2019. And though in the National Gender Policy 2021, deliberately recruit and integrate women with disability as card-carrying members backed by disaggregated party membership data. Nominate and protect the equal rights of women with disability members with equal stake and right and responsibility to the party. Encourage women with disabilities to aspire for and serve in leadership and executive positions with special measures for their protection in all political processes, especially during election periods. Articulate and implement gender and disability inclusion education for its members and enforce a zero tolerance for stigma, discrimination, and exclusion of persons with disabilities. Article 3, legislature. The national and the state legislative assemblies, among their other roles, should ensure that Nigeria's annual budget allocate funds to facilitate the effective implementation of the provisions Nigerian Disability Act 2019 to guarantee improvement in the social and economic lives of women with disabilities. Causing the inclusion of disabilities as one of the indices of the diversity and enact an amendment law to rename the Federal Character Commission to Federal Character and Equal Opportunity Commission. Conduct strict legislative oversight to enforce and ensure public and private institutions implement and comply with Disability Prohibition Act 20. Oversight to ensure and enforce and ensure public and private legislature implementation and comply with the Disability Prohibition Act 2019 and other legislation, providing an inclusion and protection of persons with disabilities. Article 4, Independent National Electoral Commission. As the electoral invites, INEC should spare no resources to enabling persons with disability and actively participating in all electoral processes, responding to the specialized needs in ways that evidence credibility, citizens' inclusion and participation. Work with the Disability Commission and other CSOs disability group to recruit and train PWDs as ad hoc staff, electoral staff, and election observers in order to display any fear or expulsion or helplessness, especially in election period, strengthening its cooperation and collaboration with other election management bodies to make polling centers orderly and safe for all, especially persons with disability. Article 5, Inter-Party Advisory Council. The non-partisan platform of IPAC should perform its vanguard function to regulate party activities, party actions, and ensure citizens, especially vulnerable PWDs, are especially catered for by all electoral management bodies. Intensify inter-party dialogue to press home the need for parties to promote peaceful election in order not to enfranchise vulnerable persons such as PWs who need guaranteed protection to participate and contribute to the credibility of the election. Article 6, traditional and news media. As the public consciousness of society, the media should raise awareness on positive disability policy and practice to justify the demand for the persons with disability, especially women and children, promote the adoption of inclusion culture that enables women with disability participate and contribute in community development association, create media development programs to strongly discourage discrimination against women and women with disabilities, promote and celebrate the potential benefits and review values of inclusion of women with disabilities in governance and decision-making structure. Article 7, economic, political, social and physical security. Overall protection and dignity should include provision of free basic literacy, numeracy and skill development facilitates the inclusion of women with disabilities in the formal and the informal sector of the economy, incorporating of women with disability in conflict prevention and peace building structures and processes in line with the provision of UNEP 1325, dedicates funds for women and with disabilities in form of annual business grants that improves their economic disposition, protects their integrity, and assist self-reliance, eliminating all forms of electoral violence to enable women and persons with disabilities participate in politics to achieve the goal of achieving 15% disability affirmation, action in elective and appointive position from 2023 and beyond. Building the capacity of all service providers to professionally respond to the physical and the psychological and the psychosocial needs of women with disabilities in peace and conflict situations, ensuring protection for women with disability that none remain in hostile and life-threatening IDP camps for a period longer than necessary. The passage and adoption and implementation of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 in the 36 states of Nigeria towards entrenching, protection and establishment of functional domestic and social peace architectures and facilities, particularly to protect women and persons with disability. Article 8, Civil Society. Civil society as foot soldiers should strengthen collaboration and synergy to support each other in closing capacity gaps and provisioning for persons with disability through all the electoral processes, particularly on election day. Ensuring effective election monitoring to scale up information that leads to the mitigation of any challenge PWD may at risk or at actually victims. Article 9, Development Partners. Development partners as independent entities should sustain the core of government, politicians, security and the elections management board to conduct credible elections in which no one is excluded through the deployment of best practices and context-aligned political framework and processes. PWDs are capable, include us in governance, position, and programming. Thank you.